Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Success Insight podcast. Our guest today is our returning guest for Mindset Mondays, Andree Martin. Andree is your leadership mindset and golf performance coach. Andree is an LPGA Class A Life member and nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame. Recognizing golf's value as a business tool in today's competitive marketplace, Andree works with individuals, groups, corporate or organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. And for those listeners who have been really getting excited about these episodes with Andree, episode number 1 was how we're going to go for the gold. Do listen to that. And then episode 2 was staying grounded. And our last episode was managing hazards and blow up holes. And so we're very excited about what Andree is going to share with us today. Andree, welcome to the Success Insight podcast.
Thanks, Howard. It's great to return. Thanks for having me back. Looking forward to today.
Fantastic. We're starting to get into this rhythm, and, I just love the energy. There's just the energy, the passion you have for the game. And it's also dawning on me too, the stories that you have. I know when I would go out on the weekends and play golf with my friends, some of us had the most brilliant shots. Some of us had the not so most brilliant shots. But in that activity, in that moment, there were stories that we are going to continue to take with us day in and day out because they're important, either as a group, for friendship, for helping our peers in the moment. And it's really it's such a wonderful metaphor, which is why I love Mindset Mondays, is how we can use golf in the metaphor that it so nicely intertwines with the business world. So very excited today. What do you have on store for us?
Thanks, Howard. Today we're going to talk about raising the bar. Have you decided you're going to go for the gold, or are you going to settle for silver? It's time to keep that bar raised up and lean in. Are you ready to level up your game? Who isn't, right? We all want to keep getting better, except for the social golfer, which is okay. Everybody has their reasons for playing the game. But if we're talking about business and golf, we're all looking for ways to raise the bar. Champions are always looking for ways to raise their bar. So where is yours right now? And how has it gone up or down in the last 2 to 4 weeks? We've had a lot of change happening and a lot of challenge to our mindset in being able to stay positive, in order to be able to stay unconditionally loving our children, our spouse, and still keep our businesses alive and thriving. When I look at the golf game and what I see happening in your average golfer, and comparing it to your professional golfer, when things get tough, we get tight. And when you're tight, you can't move. It's like, I just can't move. And you end up lifting and you're not turning. Your little muscles are doing all the work and you can't move your body. And it's like, ugh. And what is that? That's an effort. You're in effort. You're efforting. What I'm always telling my students is you want effortless power, not powerful effort. You want to be in the flow. What is being in the zone, right? It's you're in your stride. I remember watching Annika Sorenstam shoot her 59. Yes, I was one of the lucky ones. I was at Moon Valley and I got to watch her play those last 6 holes. I got to experience and see firsthand what it's like to truly be in the zone. It was like she was in a bubble and nobody else was around her. And she was just easily walking and gliding. And her stride was consistent and steady. Her arms and as she was walking, it was like she had cooked spaghetti noodle arms, right? But it even was visible, the effortlessness and how she flowed with her tempo. It had power, mind you, which we'll get to in a moment. takes me to a favorite sport that I love as a getaway from golf, and that's downhill skiing. And I love powder. And to ski well in powder, you've got to have your legs and your knees almost hitting your chest. You've got to let them float. And you're just kind of going with the flow of the slope and just picking your trail. Mountain biking, you've got to let your arms come into the handles of the bike, and you've just got to keep going. And in golf, even if you're just going from fairway to green, it's all about eyeing the target and really getting into the visualization of what it's like when you're on and what's your tempo. Oftentimes they'll ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your tempo when you hit it really well? I guarantee you it's not 10 being super tight. Yes, we're creating momentum as we go, but in order to create momentum as you go, it's got to have that effortlessness so that it accelerates on the way through full of momentum, right?
So I have a question. How do you initiate that conversation with the student? I want to also make that connection back to the business owner, the executive, the manager, the leader with his or her staff. In golf, how do you start to have that conversation? Because, in this day, we are quarantined in our respective homes. We are hopefully still working or being able to work. There's some struggles out there. There's a lot of things that are outside of our control. There are things that are in our control. But how do we stay in the flow versus trying to power through? Because I have a sense that when we try to power through, that's when we really are doing more harm to us and those around us.
And we go back to those blow-up holes that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
You're basically in fight or flight based on what you're describing right now. And the best example I can give you is, you hit a bad shot and it's just over. It's like, geez, and you've missed a couple. And then you say, oh, blankety blanket, right? And then the next shot is just, well, where's that been all day? Well, what happened? You relaxed your focus and you just said, the heck with it. I'm just going to hit the effing ball, right? And in doing so, what happened? You relaxed. You didn't overexert your attention. It makes me think of Yoda. Don't try, do. And there's a fine line there, isn't there? In doing, it's all being in the flow. You're shifting gears. You're getting into momentum versus muscle. And that's why I like to use the scales of 1 to 10, because even the audience listening in will relate to that. On a scale of 1 to 10, when you're doing it really well and you're in your flow, you're not efforting, and tension is a 10. Most people are somewhere on the scale between probably a 3 or an 8. And I get the whole gamut. I had a college student, played really good collegiate golf. The minute she went from a 4 to a 5, she was sideways. She stayed within her 4 tempo and rhythm, which was her tempo and rhythm. She crushed it. She hit it further than most girls her age. And mine's a 7. Everybody's got a different number, and that doesn't matter. It's what's your rhythm and tempo. Look at all of us. We're all different personalities, right? Some of us are wired tighter than others, but how do we keep our mojo? Okay. And that's the Yoda. You want to be in the doing versus the trying. We want relaxed, effortless power. So relaxing increases your results. It actually allows you to be more fluid. It allows the canoe to go downstream. You're not going upstream, right? You've heard that. A lot of us have heard that expression. It makes me think when I was teaching schools and I got a chance to do an encore session one time, I had this person, he was chopping. I finally put a club in his hands. We went in the creek. It wasn't that high, but I said, all right, I want you to swing it in this creek without splashing it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, this is a smaller shot. This is a chip. And then we get into the momentum of the shot and an impact on a big full swing. Yeah, you're going to have a big splash, but that takeaway better not splash. Okay. So you got to get in the flow of getting that one piece, big muscular motion, getting your big muscles into it in order for that effortless power to increase the momentum for you and increase your own trust in yourself. When we are in trust, we're in the flow and we're not trying so hard. We're not trying to hit it harder. that number or tempo gets, the reason that number is so important in golf is it syncs up our hands, shoulders, hips, and it gets all of us working as a team together, right? And it's all about lining things up for success.
And I'm wondering too, in the business world, some leaders who are in positions of authority feel to be successful that I need to be responsible for everything. And in reality, there's no way they can be responsible for everything. They have their area of core brilliance, hopefully, and the areas that they don't, hopefully they have others who have their areas of brilliance. And to me, trying to take this metaphor of raising the bar, effortless power versus powerful effort, part of that in the business world is recognizing, here's the things I'm good at, here's the things I need help with. And perhaps part of this effortless power is accomplishing the tasks at hand, but it's having the right people with you to help you accomplish those tasks.
Yeah, a great leader, the really great leaders surround themselves with people that are better than they are in the areas of weakness. And together, the whole team pulls through. I mean, you don't put a center on a football field as quarterback. The center on the football field has a big, huge role to play. And in them being great at their brilliance, they're allowing the quarterback to be their great brilliance because they've got the quarterback's back. When we let go and do more of a macro type management versus a micro management, you have brilliance. And you're increasing the energy and the effort of the whole team. Why do they say leadership happens from the top down, right? Well, everybody's looking up to the leader to lead and lead by example and lead by empowerment. Why has Nordstrom been so successful over the years, right? They empower everybody to be the best and to step up and lean in. And in doing so, the whole team continues to be successful.
In the time we have left, a story that's just really coming to my consciousness as we're having this conversation is individuals, out on the course, you have the companies, and I'm thinking about General Motors right now. They, along with one of their tech partners, I think it was called Ventec Life Systems, pulled a miracle out of a very dire circumstances, that's not having enough ventilators, and being committed to solving the problem. Here's our goal. Here's our target. We need to create these devices. And then together, each of them talking to their suppliers, here's what we need. Here's where we can produce it. Just the effort, which in typical manufacturing, this would have been a multi-month, perhaps even a year effort to produce these ventilators, but they did something extraordinary because they were all seamlessly working together. And
smarter versus harder.
Yeah, and just not trying to power through intimidation or this is the way it's going to be, but how do we check our egos at the door? How do we solve this? Who do we need around this table to help us solve the problem? And it's interesting in our conversations thus far. This is our fourth podcast together, is the metaphor between golf, the business, leadership, and even our current circumstances. We can see where this metaphor really is being put into practice today. Pretty amazing stuff.
And it's right timing, and hopefully everybody's getting enlightened by it. Again, when the archer is pulling back the bow, they often talk about the relaxed focus on the target, right? And that relaxed gaze and focus actually allows them to zoom in and nail it. And gosh, yeah, there's so much around all this and being able to lean in and really trust that the practice and the preparation is ready for the opportunity to nail the target.
Fantastic. So, Andree, in the time we have left, where should our listeners learn more about you and your work? Where's the best places for them to go?
AndreeGolf.com, and that's Andree with 2 E's. And I also have a presence on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the other social media outlets. Thank you, Howard. I just want to encourage the audience to think about this one other pearl that I'd like to leave with you today. My goal that I've always shared with my students is, and this goes back to my early days of working with Chuck Hogan, you want to come off the golf course with more energy than you started. I know this is challenging times right now, but if you can keep asking yourself that, we're going to get better and better, folks. Everything improves.
Fantastic. All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Andree Martin, your leadership, mindset, and golf performance coach for our monthly installment of Mindset Mondays. And we truly appreciate Andree taking time out of her busy schedule to join us on the podcast. And I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to seeing what is on store for us during the next episode. So do go out to andreegolf.com if you'd like to learn more about Andree. Connect with her. She's on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And do check us out on our podcast page, successinsightpodcast.com. Let us know what you think about our podcast, the specific episodes. We invite you to comment on it and all the episodes. And if there's some points you'd like us to entertain, let us know that as well. And this is the beauty of this format with the podcast, is really having some great conversations and then seeing where those conversations lead. So you can see us again on our website. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn under successinsightpodcast.com, YouTube, as well as the podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. And remember, folks, like we say, every podcast, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there. We typically say have a phenomenal day. We do want you to have a phenomenal day, but we want you to be healthy, safe, take care of yourself, take care of your family and your loved ones. And as Andree was sharing, we're going to come out of this for the better. I am totally certain of that. So until the next episode, this is Howard Fox, and this has been the Success Insight Podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.